Mary is a college student, and she's late for class. That's why she runs down the hallway and bumps into a skateboarder. She hits her head and forgets what class she was running to. Mary remembers just 3 things. This class is taught by a redhead professor. She has to go upstairs, and she already attended economics and philosophy classes today. Can you help her find the correct classroom? There are 4 redhead professors in this college, but we can exclude those whose classrooms are on the ground floor. Although this gentleman is on the first floor, he teaches economics, so he doesn't fit either. Meanwhile, the math teacher matches the requirements perfectly, so Mary should go up to the second floor. Mary's walking down the street after classes. Suddenly, a car stops in front of her and someone kidnaps her. Mary wakes up in a dusty basement. The door is not locked, but it's guarded by a creepy guy. She looks around and finds 3 pills: red, green, and blue. Each pill will give her one specific superpower for 10 seconds. The red pill gives the power of super speed. The blue pill will make her invisible. And the green one will make Mary fly. Which pill should she choose to escape? Mary should choose the invisibility pill. The guard will not be able to catch her if he's not aware that she's running away. The next day, Mary goes to college and faces amazing news. Her friend Bill succeeded in making clones of some students. But unfortunately, now he cannot tell clones from real people. Can you help him? Let's take a closer look at the second lady's eyes and the third lady's ears. These 2 individuals are definitely clones. What about these guys? Can you sort out all the clones? Both of the palms of the second guy are right, and the third one has weird wires in his arm. So only the first guy is a human. Let's see if you can spot clones here. The first and the third guys are too suspicious for regular human beings. Mary is visiting her granny, who lives on a farm and grows vegetables. But Granny is very upset because someone stole the largest pumpkin from her garden the other night. She suspects one of her neighbors. Mary decides to question them. Olivia says, "My pumpkins are way better than your granny's. Why would I steal from her?" Sam says, "I was on a business trip the other night, so I didn't see anything. I'm not a huge fan of vegetables, that's why I don't grow them." And Tom says, "Your granny is bothering me with small talk all the time, so I avoid visiting her farm at all costs." Can you help Mary spot the thief? It was Sam. He has a scarecrow with a big pumpkin head. Granny goes to sleep early, and Mary decides to watch TV. Breaking news! A dangerous criminal ran away from a nearby prison and now creeps around the village. Suddenly, Mary hears someone knocking on the door. She opens and faces 2 ladies who introduce themselves as Mary's neighbors. Both ladies are baking cakes separately. Sarah is asking for a cup of sugar, and Sheila would like to borrow a cup of milk. But only one of them is safe to invite over. Can you guess who? Both ladies are wearing clothes with red stains. They might have stained it while making their cakes. But Sarah has a real axe hidden in her boot, so she must be the runaway criminal from the news. Mary is looking through Granny's old stuff and finds 3 spooky pictures. Only one of these ladies is a real human being. Can you guess who? The first lady is a real mermaid. Take a closer look at her neck. She has gills and she breathes underwater, so we can exclude her. The third lady has vampire ears and red eyes, but who knows, maybe it's just a costume. Meanwhile, the second lady is hanging on a transparent rope, so she's just pretending to be flying. And since we know there's only one human among these ladies, we can conclude that it's the second lady. Mary finds two similar pictures of her granny. Can you spot three differences between them? Here they are! Later that night, Mary receives a video call from her grandpa. He's working on a space station. Grandpa tells Mary sad news.
Tonight, someone from my team stole all the seeds from the local Martian kiwi. It took me a year to obtain them. I'd like to find the one who did it as soon as possible. Otherwise, it'll take years to find new seeds.
Mary takes a brief look at the crew and spots the thief right away. What about you? In her user picture, Lily doesn't have any moles on her face. Seems like these spots are the kiwi seeds that she's decided to hide in plain sight. Mary goes to the local shopping mall and sees these three guys. One of them is going on a date tonight. Can you guess who? It must be the third guy. He's hiding a small wrapped gift, probably for his date. Mary enters a clothing store, looks around, and spots four odd details. Have you noticed them too? The mannequin has 6 fingers on one of her hands. The ceiling fan is not connected to any wires, but it works. The lady is eating ice cream near the cashmere sweaters, but there's a sign at the entrance forbidding customers from entering with food, and the sales lady is walking barefoot. Mary continues her shopping and finds something very curious. It has a head and a tail that will never meet. Having too many of them is always a treat. What is it? It's a coin. Mary purchases something that helps you from your head to your toe, but the more it works, the smaller it grows. Can you guess what it is? It's a bar of soap. Mary gets out of the shopping mall and walks to the parking lot. She approaches her car and sees that someone had written a couple of words on her windshield. Mary finds 3 suspects and questions them. Chelsea says, "I'm sorry, but I didn't see anything. I was too busy with my shopping bags." Peter says, "I've just parked my car nearby. Your windshield was already signed when I arrived there." And Alice says, "Wow, lady, you're still very lucky. Take a look at my car. Someone scratched it while I was in the supermarket." Who's guilty? Chelsea. Take a look at her lipstick color. It's purple, just like the inscription on Mary's car. Mary wants to take her car to the nearest car wash. Chelsea offers to pay for the cleaning if Mary manages to crack her riddle. The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? Ready to hear the correct answer? Footsteps. The weekend is over and Mary leaves Granny for college. She enters the dorm and finds a huge bouquet of roses on her bed. There's no card, so Mary has no idea who's her secret admirer. Mary questions 3 suspects, but each denies their involvement. Bill says, "I'm too broke. I can't afford to buy such an expensive gift." Paul says, "I have a girlfriend. I give flowers to her only." And Dave says, "Why would I get roses or anything else? You didn't reply to messages." Who brought the flowers? Bill. He has a few rose petals left under his bed. Mary goes to the local library. Oh no, the door is locked. Someone changed the 9-digit password, but luckily, Mary finds a note with a hint. 3, 1, 2, 9, 4, 7. Can you help her figure out the new code to open the door? She should literally press 3 1s, 2 9s, and 4 7s. Finally, Mary enters the library, but she yells and runs away in fear. Can you guess why? Take a look at the flower pots. There's a greenish snake crawling around one of the plants.
A mysterious, daring thief committed a series of bank robberies in the city. The criminal is acting with a unique style. He leaves enigmatic pictures with 2 symbols at each crime scene. Detectives are confused. But thankfully, a police dog helps them track traces and leads them to an old house in a creepy neighborhood. The detectives find 3 suspects, but each of them has a strong alibi. Mr. Wildrose says, "I was busy celebrating my birthday with friends." Mr. Showberry says, "I was visiting a nighttime art exhibition, but unfortunately it wasn't allowed to take pictures inside." And Mr. Greenman says, "I had to stay home because I was sick. My mother was taking care of me, so she can verify my words." Can you spot the thief? Do you remember the picture of the crime scene? It shows a snowflake and a berry. This hint points to Mr. Snowberry. The detectives arrest Mr. Snowberry, but he finds a way to escape from his cell. The policemen are chasing him around a 2-story jail building. Mr. Snowberry hides on the roof and decides to jump off it. Can you guess why he decided to jump instead of climbing this tree? If he climbs the tree, he'll disturb these birds. They'll fly away and the police will notice him. Mr. Snowberry jumps and blacks out. After a while, he wakes up and finds himself locked in a small room. Mr. Snowberry looks around and finds a door. He tries to open it, but it's locked. He notices 3 buttons on the door. There's a circle on the first button, a triangle on the second one, and a square on the third button. He doesn't know which one he should press to unlock the door. Luckily, he finds a note with 3 numbers, 12, 4, and 8. Can you guess which button he should choose? There's a clock right above the door, and it's here for a reason. If we draw lines connecting 12, 4, and 8, we'll get a triangle. So he should press the triangle button. Mr. Snowberry manages to escape. He's starving and makes a stop at a restaurant. The waiter brings 2 trays of food. There are 3 differences between these meals. Can you spot them? Ready to see the correct answer? Here they are.
Yes!
The policemen spot Mr. Snowberry at the restaurant. They begin to chase the criminal, and he hides in this street. Can you help them find Mr. Snowberry? He's over here. Finally, Mr. Snowberry ends up in jail, but the city is shocked by another crime that happened in a historical museum. Someone stole an ancient emerald statue during an exhibition. This artifact is expensive and very rare. So the detective starts his investigation immediately. He finds 3 suspects who were standing close to the crime scene, but each of them denies any involvement in the theft. Jeff says, "I was recently released from prison. I'd like to recover my reputation, so I avoid any trouble with the law." Peter, who claims to be a writer, says, "I would never risk my reputation for the sake of some stupid statue." And Frank says, "Sir, I'm a billionaire. I have enough money to buy this entire museum." Who is lying? Frank. He said he's a billionaire. Why would he wear a fake brand? Molly's kitten is missing. She's looking for her pet in the park and comes across these 3 strangers. One of them stole her kitten. Can you guess who? The first lady is just holding a bag with a toy cat. The second lady is pregnant. But the third guy is hiding a real kitten under his clothes. A weird incident happened at Mr. Green's hotel. All the fish disappeared from the aquarium. It's late, so Mr. Green suspects only 4 employees. Bobby, the porter, says, "I spent the whole day carrying guest bags, so I simply didn't have time for any thefts." The cleaner, Amy, says, "When I arrived at work, the aquarium was already empty." The waiter, Harry, says, "I was working all day, so I didn't walk near the aquarium." Meanwhile, Mary, the manager, says, "I don't like fish at all. I prefer dogs." After hearing their stories, Mr. Green knows for sure who stole the fish. What about you? Take a look at the puddle on the floor. Seems like Harry has recently gotten soaked, probably because he was trying to catch the fish from the aquarium. Oh no! Lauren checks into Mr. Green's hotel. In the lobby, she meets 3 porters who offer to take care of her luggage, but only one of them is trustworthy. Can you guess who? The first porter wears 2 watches, one on his left hand and one on his right. The left watch is too big, so it's probably stolen.
Really?
It's not safe to trust your luggage to a thief. And the third porter is a ghost. His feet don't touch the ground. Therefore, Lauren should trust the second guy. Me? I just get out of that hotel. Anyway, Lauren goes to the local nightclub. Kyle, Tom, and Nick invite her to dance. But only one of them is safe to dance with. What's your guess? Tom wears a leather jacket with sharp spikes.
Oh.
He can accidentally scratch Lauren while dancing. Take a look at Kyle's feet. It looks like he's about to turn into a werewolf.
Oh my god.
Lauren returns to the hotel and finds out that someone stole her favorite necklace from her room.
Oh god.
She runs to the lobby and faces 4 people: a manager, a janitor, a guest, and a porter. She asks, "Who stole my necklace?" But everyone swears to have nothing to do with the robbery. Can you help Lauren find the thief? It's the manager. She hid Lauren's necklace in her glass of water.
What?
The next morning, Lauren is having breakfast in the garden. Suddenly, somebody pulls a paint bucket prank on her. Take a look at the hotel guests. Can you figure out who did it? It was definitely the first guy. There are paint stains on his pants, and the color matches the prank paint perfectly. In the garden, Lauren finds something very curious. It's not alive, but it has 5 fingers. What is it? A glove. Mr. Green enters his office and finds a pleasant surprise on his desk. Someone brought a huge box of his favorite chocolates. Mr. Green questions his employees, but everyone swears to have nothing to do with the gift. The cleaning lady, Glenda, says, "Sir, I haven't entered your office room yet. I was too busy cleaning the bathrooms." The hostess, Holly, said, "I entered your room 2 hours ago to bring some documents. I didn't notice any chocolates." And the manager, Kara, said, "Wow, I had no idea you like chocolates. I started my shift 30 minutes ago and I didn't leave the lobby." Who's the secret admirer? Can you guess? According to Kara, she didn't enter Mr. Green's office, but she dropped one of her hairpins on the floor. Mr. Green invites Kara for lunch at the local buffet. There are 4 meals that they can enjoy: pizza, pasta, salad, and sushi. However, some of these meals are not safe. Can you figure out which ones? This pasta contains shoelaces, so it's not safe to eat. And there's a bee sitting on the sushi. It can sting, so this option isn't safe either. Lauren goes for a walk in the forest. Suddenly, she sees a weird cave with mysterious lights.
Oh my God.
She enters the cave and gets teleported to a parallel universe. Can you help her spot the difference between this reality and the normal world? This lady is wearing shoes on her hands. Well, that's weird. Lauren meets a wizard who promises to send her home. But first, she has to crack his riddle. Spelled forwards, I'm what you do every day. Spelled backward, I'm something you hate. What am I? If we spelled live backwards, we'll get evil. So the correct answer is live. Harry and Larry are twins. They were born in May, but their birthday is in June. How is this possible? Well, it's possible because May is a town. Gotcha.
Bella is planning a workshop for hairdressers. She needs a model with natural hair color. Bella gets messages from 3 candidates: Kelly, Shelly, and Sally. She looks through their social media and finds out that only one of these ladies didn't lie. Can you guess who has natural hair color? Kelly has gray roots, so she dyes her hair. Shelly has yellow blonde hair. It looks pretty natural, but it proves nothing. Meanwhile, Sally has red hair. And she has family pictures that show that her parents and siblings have the same hair color. So, Bella should choose Sally. The next day, Bella goes hiking with her friends, Jeff and Kim. They're hanging out on a high rock. Can you spot who's in danger? Bella is blindfolded and she's approaching a cliff break. Jeff is digging with a shovel, but there are electrical wires underneath. And Kim is just trying to feed a squirrel, but everyone is in danger. Bella can fall down, Jeff can get electrocuted, and the squirrel can bite Kim. Bella enters a cave to take some pictures, but suddenly an earthquake occurs. The exit is now blocked with stones. Bella looks around and finds 3 passages leading outside. There's a hungry wolf inside the first tunnel, The second passage is filled with toxic mushrooms. Just one bite can be fatal for any human. And inside the third tunnel, there's a water-filled tank with a shark. Which way is more or less safe? Bella should choose the second passage. The mushrooms are only dangerous when eaten. No one is forcing Bella to eat them. Bella is walking back home and sees a lonely dog on a playground. One of these guys is its owner. Can you guess who? The dog belongs to the second guy. He's skimming a newspaper to be able to look after his dog. Also, he's holding a collar that matches the dog's size. Meanwhile, another man is scrolling his feed on the phone and pays no attention at all. Bella arrives at work. She's been trying to open the door leading to her office, but it's locked. Someone changed the 4-number combination. Can you help her crack the passcode? There's the word hide written next to the door. If we replace each letter with its serial number in the alphabet, we'll get the code 8945. Bella opens the beauty salon, looks around, and spots 3 weird things about this place. Can you see them too? The mirror doesn't reflect reality. There's a spoon in this box of combs, and this unplugged hairdryer is working. Bella hears weird sounds from the street. She looks out the window and sees 2 women and 1 man arguing. One of the ladies is his wife. Can you guess who? The man and the lady in a yellow shirt have matching rings. Therefore, she's his wife. 3 clients arrive at the beauty salon and ask for old-fashioned hairstyles. Bella takes a look at them and spots a ghost right away. What about you? The first lady is dressed up as a ghost, but she's wearing jeans underneath her costume, so she's probably an actress. The third lady looks like an ordinary person with conservative tastes. But take a closer look at the second lady's feet. They don't touch the floor, so she's the ghost. Bella goes to the nearest store to buy some food for lunch. She sees 3 women in a line. Only one of them is a mother. Can you guess who? The first woman has a cart full of goods including diapers, but the size is big, so they're for elderly people. The third lady is buying fireworks, soda, and red cups. But it proves nothing. She's probably just going to throw a party. Meanwhile, the second lady has a stain on her dress and she looks pretty sleepy, so she's a mother. Bella moves on to the next store. There's a line with 3 customers, and one of them is a thief. Can you guess who? The third guy is wearing an oversized sweater, but he's innocent. Meanwhile, the second guy in a hoodie hid the stolen goods in his hood. The next morning, Bella wakes up in an abandoned house. A creepy voice says,
"I'll set you free if you guess the password correctly."
Can you help her escape? Take a look at the letters on the wall. We can rearrange them into a dream house. Bella is meeting her best friend Kyle in a restaurant. He's about to introduce her to his future wife, Nellie. But Nellie has a twin sister, Kelly, who's also attending the dinner. Can you help Bella figure out which lady is Kyle's fiancée, Nellie? The twins look exactly the same, but Nellie has a heart-shaped necklace. Bella is watching the videos of her favorite travel bloggers. One of these guys is a millionaire, while the other one is broke. Can you guess who is who? The first guy is broke. He photoshopped himself into this picture on the beach. The palm trees have shadows directed to the left. Meanwhile, his own shadow is directed to the right. Why would a millionaire fake his vacation? Today, Bella's beauty salon celebrates its 5th birthday. She invited a lot of friends, including her boyfriend, Tim. Before the event, she calls Bella, saying, "I'm at work, but I promise to be at the party at 9 o'clock." Tim comes over in 9 hours and 3 minutes. He brings pretty flowers and chocolates. But Bella bursts into tears because she's very mad. Why? Bella was expecting her boyfriend to arrive at 9 p.m., but he came at 9 a.m. the next morning. 2 ladies show up at Bella's beauty salon. One of them is super rich. Can you guess who? The second lady is a bag designer. The first lady is wearing her brand. So, the second one must be really rich. Bella is attending Kyle's wedding. All of his friends show up looking rich and fabulous. Mike has a bunch of expensive gadgets. Chuck is wearing a brandy suit. And Lily is driving an exclusive sports car. But only one of them is really rich. Can you guess who? Take a closer look at Chuck's suit. He didn't remove the price tag, so he's probably planning on returning it after the wedding. This fancy sports car doesn't belong to Lily. It's rented. Therefore, Mike is the richest person here. There are too many guests at the wedding for such a small cake. But Bella manages to grab a slice. She puts a plate with her cake on a table and leaves for 5 minutes to wash her hands. Then she comes back and sees an empty plate. Bella questions 3 guests. Alice says, "I've been dancing non-stop for the last 2 hours. I didn't eat anything." Chuck says, "It wasn't me who ate the cake. I'm on a sugar-free diet. But I guess it was Alice. I don't trust her." Lily says, "I didn't touch your cake. I was helping the bride braid her hair." Who's lying? Take a closer look at the bride's hairstyle. She doesn't have any braids. Therefore, Lily's story is fake. The wedding is going well, but at some point the bride notices that her diamond ring is missing. The robber manages to escape from the wedding, and he's hiding nearby. Can you spot him? He's over here. The next morning, Bella arrives at her beauty salon. Oh no! Someone stained the walls with paint. Bella finds 3 suspects and questions them. Molly replies, "I spent the last 3 days in another state at my parents' house. You can ask them if you don't believe me." Kelly says, "Yesterday I stayed here after closing to dye my hair. Sheila was helping me with my black roots. But then we left." And Sheila says, "Yesterday I was feeling sick and left earlier. The walls were fine." Who's lying? Kelly. She said she dyed her black roots, but they're still there.
Kyle, Kelly, and Ken are meeting at a coffee shop. Only 3 options are available at the moment: cappuccino with almond milk, iced lemon tea, and a classic latte. Each friend orders a different beverage. Kyle is allergic to coffee beans, Kelly is allergic to nuts, and Ken is allergic to cocoa. Kyle must be allergic to both latte and cappuccino, so he ordered the tea option. Kelly ordered a latte because she can't drink almond milk, and Ken took the cappuccino. Kyle offers to pay for his friend's beverages if they crack his riddle. When do we look at 1 and say 5? In a clock. When the minute hand points to 1, it means 5. Kelly tells her friends about the recent college exam. Each correct answer could win her 10 points, and each wrong answer could take away 5 points from her score. Kelly answered all the 20 questions which were given in the test. The next day got the results, and it turned out that her total score was 125 points. How many wrong answers did Kelly give? If all the 20 questions had been answered correctly, Kelly would have scored a total of 200 points. Since she only got 125 points, she lost 75 points. Now what she has to do is subtract 15 points from 200 for every wrong answer. This is because Kelly has to deduct 10 points for not scoring on that question and 5 points for answering it wrong. Therefore, Kelly answered 5 questions wrong. Ken tells Kelly and Kyle a funny story. He was going on vacation for a month, but before that, Ken went to a bank and asked for a $500 trip loan. The bank officer told Ken, "Your loan can only be approved if you leave some valuable pledge at the bank." Ken left his only car, the worth of which totals $80,000. The bank officer laughed at Ken and approved the trip loan right away. After vacation, when Ken returned, the bank officer asked him, "Are you silly? Why did you leave such an expensive car for such a small and short loan?" Ken replied, and after that, the bank officer realized that Ken wasn't silly. What did Ken reply? Ken said that he took the loan to keep his expensive car safe, and he also saved money on parking. Kelly and Kyle order similar noodles, but still there are 3 differences between them. Can you spot them? Ready to see the answer? Here they are. Ken and Kyle order almost identical desserts. Can you spot 3 differences? Over here. The next day, Kelly wins a dancing contest and gets a gold cup. She brings it to the college dorm and puts it on a shelf in her room. Later that day, she leaves for the gym. When Kelly comes back, she sees that the statue is gone. It means that one of her roommates is a thief. Kelly questions them, but they swear to have nothing to do with the theft. Shannon says, "I've been partying all day. I only returned 5 minutes ago." Mary says, "Why would I steal from you? I'm super rich. I can afford to buy a castle of gold." And Brittany says, "Ew, I'm allergic to tasteless home decor. I didn't steal it." Who's lying? Mary. Why would someone who can afford a castle live in a shared room at the college dorm? The next morning, Kelly goes to the college library. According to the local urban legend, it has a secret passage. Can you help Kelly find any clues in this area? The windows are locked, but this curtain is moving. Seems like the hidden door is nearby and a draft is blowing through it. Kelly succeeds in opening the secret door and goes downstairs. She finds herself in the middle of a creepy abandoned library section. Suddenly, she sees 3 prisoners in 3 cells. Each of them is tied differently. Can you guess who has more chances to escape? The guy in the middle. He's in chains, but they're rusty. And with the right amount of pressure, they are easy to break. Suddenly, Kelly gets into a trap. A creepy voice says, "I'll set you free if you crack my riddle." I can write cow in 13 letters. Can you? Kelly nailed it right away. How about you? Ready to learn the correct answer? C-O-W. Kelly escapes and returns to the dorm. Oh no, someone has used up her shampoo. Kelly wants to find out who did it and interrogates 3 suspects. Brittany says, "My natural blonde hair is very sensitive. I only use organic chamomile shampoo, so I didn't take yours." Shannon says, "I was too busy getting ready for exams, so I didn't wash my hair for a week." And Nina says, "I think it was Shannon. I heard her admiring the smell of your shampoo the other day." Who's lying? Take a look at Brittany's roots. She's not a natural blonde. Therefore, her story is fake. Busted! Kelly orders a new debit card and creates a 4-digit code. Your task is to figure out the code based on the following clues. Its first digit is of no use. Its second and fourth digits are mirroring each other. And the third digit is half the second. The code is 0848. 0 at the start of the number is of no use. The second and fourth digit is the mirror image of each other. The number 8 is the only digit that is the mirror image of itself. And the third digit is half the second, so it's 4. Kelly goes to a park and gets lost. Thankfully, she meets a forester and asks for help. He replies, "I can show the way out, but first you gotta crack my riddle. So listen carefully. It comprises roots that nobody sees, much taller than those trees. Up and up it goes. Still, it never grows. What is it?" Ready to hear the answer? Mountain. Kelly goes to her favorite restaurant, Vegan Paradise. But it's closed, and the owner is calling the police. He says, "Please hurry up! Someone has attacked our chef. We took him to a hospital a couple of minutes ago. My rivals must have sent someone to ruin my business." Police officers arrive at the restaurant and find out that 3 people have been in the staff area during the accident. The first cook was cutting onions when the attack happened. He says that tears have blurred his vision and he couldn't see anything. The second cook was peeling shrimp during the accident. He says he's been listening to music through his earphones, so he didn't hear anything. The third person, a waitress, claims she's been serving beverages outside. Who's lying? The second cook attacked the chef. Because there can't be shrimp in a vegan restaurant. Kelly decides to go to another restaurant by taxi. She walks outside and faces 3 drivers, Mike, Bob, and Stephanie. Each offers Kelly a ride, but only one of them is trustworthy. Can you figure out who? Mike is wearing a gold bracelet with the name Mia. It doesn't fit his big wrist, so it must be stolen. And Stephanie's car lacks one wheel. Therefore, Bob is the best option. Kelly is having lunch at a cafe. At some point, she goes to the bathroom and leaves her phone on the table. Then she comes back and finds out that her phone is missing. Kelly spots a man leaving the place and runs after him. She stops him when the man is about to sit in a car and asks him to return the gadget. But the man claims to know nothing about the phone. He says, "I've just given my friends a lift to work," and he points at two men walking toward an office building. After hearing that story, Kelly calls the police immediately. Why? The man lied. His sports car only has 2 seats. It cannot fit 3 men. So, Ben and his girlfriend, Joanna, went to explore a cave and got lost. After some time walking underground, they came across 2 people. The guy was bearded and rough-looking. He had a shovel in his hands and told the couple that he had been stuck there for a week. He said he knew how to get back to the surface, but he needed some help. The lady next to him said, "Don't believe him." She said that she had been stuck down there for way longer, and she was the one who knew the way back to the surface. She said that the couple should trust and follow her. So, who should Ben and Joanna believe? They should trust the bearded guy. I mean, look at the lady. She doesn't look like someone who has been stuck down there for any time at all. She looks clean and tidy, and even has fresh flowers on her head. She must be up to something for sure. Mia was ready to graduate from the Wizardry School of Performing Arts. She just needed to pass her final test. Her teacher asked 2 students to stage a scene. One of the students is a real vampire, while the other one is just pretending to be one. Mia had to be able to identify which one is which, without using any magic. Can you help her out? Let's take a look. The first girl is heading to her garden. She has some garlic planted there, which could mean that she isn't a real vampire. The second girl seems pretty regular, except for the fact that her canine teeth are pointier than usual. And wait, look, she keeps a flask of fresh blood in her handbag. She must be the real vampire. Way to go for figuring this one out. Liam's parents are police officers. They were working on a dangerous case and asked Liam to keep it a secret. After a week, he received a message from his mom telling him, "Son, we're okay. Don't contact anyone. We sent you $5,317. Liam thought the message was suspicious. He checked his account and there were only $170 there. He immediately called the chief of police. Why? If you flip the number 5317 upside down, it reads lies. This probably meant that his parents were in danger, so he thought it was best to get some help. Ah, smart Liam. At the airport, a furious traveler claimed that the content of his baggage had disappeared. He claimed that when he arrived in Paris, his suitcase was empty, and he demanded compensation for that. After checking the passenger's info, an airport worker found out that he had indeed left London with a heavy suitcase. When the luggage arrived in Paris, though, it was lighter and very wet. The whole situation seemed very suspicious, so airport security went to investigate the case and found out that the traveler was trying to get compensation in a very deceitful way. Can you figure out what happened? When the man left Paris, his suitcase was packed with pounds of heavy ice. During his trip, his belongings melted, leaving the man's suitcase empty and wet. Technically, his belongings did disappear, but it wasn't the airline company's fault, so this guy shouldn't be compensated at all. Lauren cooked 10 buckets of chicken wings for a family gathering. One for each guest. But later, it turned out that Jimmy didn't get his bucket of chicken wings. Someone must have taken 2 buckets instead of just one. Was it Uncle Patrick? He sure does look suspicious. But look at Justin, Lauren's son. He looks like he knows something about the whereabouts of those chicken wings. Or was it Jimmy himself that hid his chicken wings to get another portion all to himself? Take a look at the picture and see if you can figure out who is the culprit. Well, it was Justin all along. The dog can't stop smelling Justin's pocket, which means that he's probably hiding chicken wings in his pocket. Bad boy, Justin. Damien was at work when he found out he had won the lottery jackpot. He told his accountant that he wanted to give half of this money to his best friend, Logan. But random people started showing up at the office claiming that they were Logan. Can you figure out who the real best friend is? It's the guy wearing a matching bracelet with Damien. That was a pretty small detail, huh? Emily and Anna went to spend the weekend at their favorite ski resort in the mountains. During the day, they went their separate ways, and each one of them engaged in their favorite activities. Anna went snowboarding, while Emily went cross-country skiing. At noon, they spotted each other. Anna was on one side of the river, and Emily was on the other side. Emily signaled Anna to cross over, and she managed to do so, even if there wasn't any bridges on the river. And she didn't even get wet. Can you guess how she managed to do that? That's easy. The river was frozen. It was super easy for Anna to cross. 3 people were stopped at the security check at an international airport. They were suspected of smuggling different stuff out of the country. The first man was headed to a beach resort. In his luggage, there were bathing suits, sunscreen, and a beach umbrella. The second man was carrying a cage of birds and a pet carrier with a family of hamsters. But this guy had all the necessary papers to travel with these animals. The last man claimed he was going on a business trip. His luggage had stuff like a suit, some paper documents, and a laptop. Take a look at the men. Can you tell which one is the smuggler? It's the first guy. Now, if he's going on vacation, why is he dressed up in a suit and tie? That looks super suspicious. Kira and Ava want to go to a party, but their parents banned them from leaving the house. Kira decided to sneak out using the attic window, while Ava decided to sneak out using the back door. Who won't make it to the party? Look at the image. Ava's dad is in the front yard reading a newspaper. He'll probably spot Ava while she tries to sneak out. Detective Adams was called to solve an unusual case. Elvis Presley's famous high-heeled shoes were stolen from the Museum of Modern Music. The museum security guard said he checked the security camera's footage several times, and all visitors left empty-handed. He said that the shoes were too bulky for anyone to try to hide them in their purses or pockets. Plus, visitors weren't allowed inside with backpacks. Detective Adams asked to see the footage, and in no time, he figured out who had stolen the shoes. Take a look at the images and see if you can find them too. Ah, it was the red-headed guy. Look, in the first image, he's shorter than all the other guests. But by the time he's ready to leave the museum, he's taller than everyone else. This probably means he left the museum wearing Elvis's shoes. Luna was a comedian, and her dream was to join the Laughing Llamas. They were a comedy group that traveled all around the world. Their next stop was going to be Madrid, and they were taking applications for a new member. Luna had tried to get in several times, but she never managed to pass the group's entry test. This time, they sent her a riddle to solve. It went like this: I'm invisible, but laughter I bring. With jokes and humor, the room will sing. Tickling funny bones, tears start to flow. Guess what I am, and the spotlight you'll know. Can you help Luna guess the answer to this riddle? The answer is joke. Simple, but clever, huh? Now, the Smith family's having a Christmas party. They snap a couple of family photos. Can you find a fish, a glove, and an egg in this picture? Over here. Leah owns a pet shop. She brings a cage with 5 new puppies, puts it on a table, and goes to the storeroom to get some dog food. In a couple of minutes, she returns and finds out that one of the puppies is gone. That's weird because the cage is locked. Leah questions 3 witnesses. Rosemary, the customer, says, I came here to choose toys for my cat. I didn't even notice the puppies. Mark, the salesman, says, I don't know where the puppy is. No one bought anything while you were absent, so I guess someone stole the pup. And Frank, the janitor, says, sorry, I was cleaning the aquarium from algae, so I didn't look around. Who's lying? It's Frank. The aquarium doesn't look like it's just been cleaned. Can you find a cat among these dogs? It's over here. Take a look at this picture. Can you sort an odd guy out? This face has different eyebrows. Detective Smith receives a call from a concert hall. Someone broke into the dressing room and stole a very expensive antique flute. Smith goes to the crime scene right away. No one had left the building since the robbery, so his task is to find the criminal as soon as possible. Smith questions 3 witnesses. Cassandra, the opera singer, says, I was talking to reporters in the lounge hall. I heard weird noises from the dressing room. It's nearby. Chester, the guard, says, I didn't see any new faces entering the building today. And Bianca, the piano player, says, I was on the phone arguing with my husband. He decided to skip my concert. Can you believe that? Who's the thief? Cassandra. The flute is hidden in the flowers that she's holding in her hands. These 3 ladies seem identical, but one of them is different. Can you spot who? The lady in the middle has a different lipstick color. Take a look at this picture of friends hanging out together. There are 3 couples among them. Each couple consists of a lady and a guy. What's your guess? Who dates who? These 2 people on the right are pretty comfortable with each other and they don't really care about others. So my bet is that they're a couple. Psychologists say we tend to turn toward people we like most in a group. The dark-haired lady and the red-haired guy are turning towards one another, so they must be the second couple, and the blonde lady is dating this guy on the left. It's the first week of the semester. Mike arrives at the college dorm. He fills the fridge with chicken sandwiches made by his granny and leaves for classes. In the evening, Mike opens the fridge and finds out that all of his sandwiches are gone. Oh, no. He shares this fridge with 3 other guys, but they swear that they didn't touch his food. Mike doesn't believe them. He asks about what they were doing all day. Dave says, I was partying with my girlfriend all day, so I had to skip classes. Nick says, I was feeling sick, so I just stayed in the dorm and watched my favorite show. And Ethan says, I was in the library getting ready for tomorrow's finals. Who's lying? Ethan. Finals take place at the end of the semester, not at the beginning. Harry is a jewelry store manager. He noticed that every month, one pair of earrings goes missing. Harry suspects the cashier. The first time it happened, she was forgiven. The second time, the sum was withdrawn from her salary. And the third time, Harry fired her.
Really?
But the theft happened for a fourth time. When it occurred once again, Harry decided to go through the security camera footage. Here are some of them made in May, June, July, August, and September. Do you see anything suspicious? In each of these recordings, there's a man with a cast. If he really had his arm broken, it would heal in a month or a couple of months. But it's been 5 months. So the cast is obviously fake, and he's the thief. So does Harry owe his former cashier an apology? What do you think? Sheila is a chef in a fancy restaurant. She arrives at her workplace early in the morning. Wow, someone has left chocolates and flowers for her in the kitchen. Only 3 people are here at this hour. Sheila questions them. Tilda, the cleaning lady, says, I arrived here first. I cleaned the kitchen, and then I went to tidy up the tables. I didn't notice any gifts. Jacob, the waiter, said, I entered the restaurant 2 minutes ago, put on my apron, and went to chat with Mia. I haven't entered the kitchen yet. And Mia, the hostess, says, I came here 10 minutes ago. I stayed in the lobby and applied makeup. Why would I bring you any gifts? Who lied? Jacob. He doesn't wear an apron. Mr. Green is a landlord of an apartment building. None of the residents are allowed to have any kind of animals, but one of the residents complains about hearing cats from the neighboring apartment. Look at these 2 places. Can you guess where a cat secretly lives? Take a look at the first apartment. The sofa is stretched on the bottom. These aren't human traces, so the cat must be living here. Several months later, someone complains about dog barking. Mr. Green checks 2 neighboring apartments. Can you help him spot where the dog is living? Hey, it's over here. There's a dog collar hidden among the pillows. Josh needs to log into his mom's laptop to delete files he accidentally sent. He doesn't know the password, but his mom always leaves notes with passcodes around in case she forgets herself. Here's the only note Josh could find. Can you help him guess the passcode? The key is to count the number of figures in each picture. The first figure implies 1, the second, 4, the third digit is 3, and the fourth one is 2. Kim works in a fancy boutique in New York. Everything here is expensive, and most clients pay by credit card. But one day, she got a client who got a purse, a wallet, and a dress.
Okay.
All that cost her $3,990. The woman decides to pay in cash. Kim refuses to sell the items to the clients and calls the police. Why? She tried to pay with $2,000 bills that don't exist. Anna participates in a game show and wins 3 exclusive gifts: a Givenchy purse, Chanel sunglasses, and a Ferrari sports car. But here's a catch. She's to pick her gifts, choosing between the original and a replica. Ready to help her pick the correct prize? Here are 2 bags. What do you say? Which one is fake? The second logo is an original.
Yes!
Now, there are seemingly identical pairs of sunglasses, but only one of them is the original Chanel. Which one? Only this one has the correct logo. And now, let's see if you can spot the original Ferrari car key. It's over here. Sam owns a flower delivery shop. He arrives at his workplace after lunch and finds out that the most expensive white lilies are torn apart. Only 4 people are working here with Sam, so he questions them. The sales lady, Emma, says, I was on the phone with a client. He wanted red roses instead of white. Jeff, the florist, says, I was having lunch too. I'm not sure I locked the storage room before leaving. I don't know who did it. Phil, the delivery guy, says, I just returned from my latest assignment. I haven't seen or delivered any lilies for weeks. And Rose, the SMM manager, says, I was too busy editing pictures for our social media. Who lied? Well, there are lily petals in Phil's bicycle basket. Therefore, he lied.
Melanie, Bethany, and Kathy are all getting married. Since they're best friends, they decided to go to the town's most famous designer to make their dresses. They have different budgets on how much they can spend on the dress. Take a look at the image. Can you tell which dress is more expensive? Let's see. Melanie's dress is at least 2 sizes larger than hers, which means she isn't having it tailor-made just for her. And Bethany's dress has a red tag on it, which means it's probably on sale. Kathy's dress looks perfect on her, and it also has a very modern design. So her dress is probably the most expensive one. Diana is a young and ambitious entrepreneur, and she's looking for investors for her startup company. An important conference is happening in her town, but Diana doesn't have the money to take part in it. She spent all her money on the first stage of her startup. So she decided to play rookie and sneak into the conference by the bathroom window. The security camera caught her doing it, and the chief guard sent his personnel to catch Diana. When they arrived in the bathroom, there were 3 women. Take a look at the image. Can you tell which one Diana is? It's the one on the left. She's the only one who's not wearing the conference bracelet. Deborah decided to treat herself to a spa day in the hills. As soon as she arrived, the spa's staff gave her a few menu options for her day. Take a look at these meal trays and try to guess which one best suits Deborah. Keep in mind that she does not eat meat, fish, or any yellow fruit. Let's see, we can eliminate the first tray. That bagel is stuffed with salmon in it, so she won't eat that. The second tray has a mango passion fruit jam spread all over the bread, so that's a no-go. The fourth tray has some bacon hidden under the waffle. I guess that leaves the third option, an avocado toast and a pink smoothie. Yummy! Fraser was walking through the park on a Sunday morning when he saw a puppy adoption stand. He couldn't help himself and adopted the cutest stray dog. He took the dog to live at the house he shared with 3 other people without asking them first. 6 months later, Fraser arrived home late at night and the puppy was gone. He interviewed his roommates to try to figure out what happened to the dog. Alice said she spent the last few days at her boyfriend's house and had no clue where the puppy was. John said he hadn't touched the puppy because of his allergies. And Mark said he had seen the dog in the morning and then noticed that the house got awfully quiet during the afternoon. Can you tell who's lying? It's John. I mean, how could he live 6 months with a dog he was allergic to? He's probably the one lying. Mrs. Sampson was the headmistress of a prestigious wizardry school in the Swiss Alps. It was the first day of the new semester, and she had a lot on her plate. She visited all the classes and greeted all the new students. But something strange caught her eye. She noticed that one of the people in the spells and potions class was an outsider. They weren't enrolled in the school. Take a look at the image. Can you tell which student is not from the school? Look at that boy's hand. He's not holding a wand. It's just a wooden stick. Mrs. Sampson's assistant was a wise-talking owl. They would challenge one another with riddles throughout the day to keep their minds sharp. Judy, the owl, asked Mrs. Sampson,
"I'm taken from a mine and shut in a wooden case, from which I am never released. And yet I'm used by almost every person, almost every day. What am I?"
If you answered pencil lead, then you got it right. Taylor was nervous. It was the debut night of her first tour. She had practiced endless hours to make everything perfect. But something went very wrong. When she went to try out her first costume for the show, it was all ripped. If that wasn't enough, all the other costumes were also ruined. She called her best friend, who was also an expert investigator, to help her find the culprit. The sound manager said he'd been out the day before to get some new equipment for the singer. The costume designer said she was dealing with enough stress as it was and started crying when the singer told her what had happened. The security guard said he had been on post the entire night and didn't see anything strange happen in the venue. The backup dancer said she had used the stage to rehearse some of the moves, but also didn't see anyone come inside. Can you figure out who did it? It was the backup dancer. She was the only person in the venue the night before. And look at her purse. There are scissors poking out. Who carries scissors around for no reason? Mel was the CEO of a cosmetics company. She was at the height of her career when she got kidnapped. She was taken to a cell in some mysterious location, and the bandits said they would only let her go if her family paid her ransom. They forgot to take her cell phone from her, though. Unfortunately, she only had enough battery for one text, so she had to choose wisely. She remembered a friend of hers from college who turned out to be a successful IT person. She texted the friend an encrypted message that read like this: JUXBTFSJL. Can you figure out how to decipher this message? What Mel did was apply a simple technique. In order to read it correctly, the person has to shift one letter to the right in alphabetical order. The message reads, "It was Eric." So when the news got out that she was being held hostage, her college friend had already solved the case and helped rescue Mel. In Mount Hillside Elementary School, there are 5 students in a class: Anna, Valerian, Vicky, Solana, and Serge. Here are a few things you need to know about them. 1. The one who loves Valerian is friends with Solana. 2. Those whom Vicky considers her enemies are called Anna and Solana, but Vicky is friends with Valerian and Serge. 3. Valerian is friends with Vicky, Anna, and Serge, but not friends with Solana. What is the name of the girl who loves Valerian? This made my head hurt a little bit, but the correct answer is Anna. Maya was exploring the ancient woods behind her house, and she ran into a time-traveling rabbit. The rabbit was mischievous and loved playing pranks on people and confusing them. He asked Maya several confusing questions and finished with this riddle.
If the day after tomorrow becomes yesterday, then today will be as far from Sunday as the day it was today when the day before yesterday was tomorrow. Which day is it?
Maya frowned and asked to take some time to think of the correct answer. After an hour, she cracked the answer. Can you figure it out as well? It's Sunday. Here's how it works. The day after tomorrow becomes yesterday on Wednesday. The day before yesterday was tomorrow, Thursday. And Wednesday and Thursday are equally far from Sunday. The rabbit enjoyed playing games with Maya, so he continued his mind tricks. He showed Maya 2 very similar images and asked her to spot 4 differences. Can you help her do this as quickly as possible? Let's see. The witch on the right is missing a feather on her shoe, some lace on her dress, Her hat is not pointy and the tree behind her is missing an apple. Phew!
Kyle, Kelly, and Ken are meeting at a coffee shop. Only 3 options are available at the moment: cappuccino with almond milk, iced lemon tea, and a classic latte. Each friend orders a different beverage. Kyle is allergic to coffee beans, Kelly is allergic to nuts, and Ken is allergic to cocoa. Kyle must be allergic to both latte and cappuccino, so he ordered the tea option. Kelly ordered a latte because she can't drink almond milk, and Ken took the cappuccino. Kyle offers to pay for his friend's beverages if they crack his riddle. When do we look at 1 and say 5? In a clock, when the minute hand points to 1, it means 5. Kelly tells her friends about the recent college exam. Each correct answer could win her 10 points, and each wrong answer could take away 5 points from her score. Kelly answered all the 20 questions which were given in the test. The next day got the results, and it turned out that her total score was 125 points. How many wrong answers did Kelly give? If all the 20 questions had been answered correctly, Kelly would have scored a total of 200 points. Since she only got 125 points, she lost 75 points. Now what she has to do is subtract 15 points from 200 for every wrong answer. This is because Kelly has to deduct 10 points for not scoring on that question and 5 points for answering it wrong. Therefore, Kelly answered 5 questions wrong. Ken tells Kelly and Kyle a funny story. He was going on vacation for a month, but before that, Ken went to a bank and asked for a $500 trip loan. The bank officer told Ken, "Your loan can only be approved if you leave some valuable pledge at the bank." Ken left his only car, the worth of which totals $80,000. The bank officer laughed at Ken and approved the trip loan right away. After vacation, when Ken returned, the bank officer asked him, "Are you silly? Why did you leave such an expensive car for such a small and short loan?" Ken replied, and after that, the bank officer realized that Ken wasn't silly. What did Ken reply? Ken said that he took the loan to keep his expensive car safe, and he also saved money on parking. Kelly and Kyle order similar noodles, but still there are 3 differences between them. Can you spot them? Ready to see the answer? Here they are. Ken and Kyle order almost identical desserts. Can you spot 3 differences? Over here. The next day, Kelly wins a dancing contest and gets a gold cup. She brings it to the college dorm and puts it on a shelf in her room. Later that day, she leaves for the gym. When Kelly comes back, she sees that the statue is gone. It means that one of her roommates is a thief. Kelly questions them, but they swear to have nothing to do with the theft. Shannon says, "I've been partying all day. I only returned 5 minutes ago." Mary says, "Why would I steal from you? I'm super rich. I can afford to buy a castle of gold." And Brittany says, "Ew, I'm allergic to tasteless home decor. I didn't steal it." Who's lying? Mary. Why would someone who can afford a castle live in a shared room at the college dorm. The next morning, Kelly goes to the college library. According to the local urban legend, it has a secret passage. Can you help Kelly find any clues in this area? The windows are locked, but this curtain is moving. Seems like the hidden door is nearby and a draft is blowing through it. Kelly succeeds in opening the secret door and goes downstairs. She finds herself in the middle of a creepy abandoned library section. Suddenly, she sees 3 prisoners in 3 cells. Each of them is tied differently. Can you guess who has more chances to escape? The guy in the middle. He's in chains, but they're rusty. And with the right amount of pressure, they are easy to break. Suddenly, Kelly gets into a trap. A creepy voice says, "I'll set you free if you crack my riddle." I can write cow in 13 letters. Can you? Kelly nailed it right away. How about you? Ready to learn the correct answer? C-O-W. Kelly escapes and returns to the dorm. Oh no, someone has used up her shampoo. Kelly wants to find out who did it and interrogates 3 suspects. Brittany says, "My natural blonde hair is very sensitive. I only use organic chamomile shampoo, so I didn't take yours." Shannon says, "I was too busy getting ready for exams, so I didn't wash my hair for a week." And Nina says, "I think it was Shannon. I heard her admiring the smell of your shampoo the other day." Who's lying? Take a look at Brittany's roots. She's not a natural blonde. Therefore, her story is fake. Busted! Kelly orders a new debit card and creates a 4-digit code. Your task is to figure out the code based on the following clues. Its first digit is of no use. Its second and fourth digits are mirroring each other. And the third digit is half the second. The code is 0848. 0 at the start of the number is of no use. The second and fourth digit is the mirror image of each other. The number 8 is the only digit that is the mirror image of itself. And the third digit is half the second, so it's 4. Kelly goes to a park and gets lost. Thankfully, she meets a forester and asks for help. He replies, "I can show the way out, but first you gotta crack my riddle. So listen carefully. It comprises roots that nobody sees, much taller than those trees. Up and up it goes. Still, it never grows. What is it?" Ready to hear the answer? Mountain. Kelly goes to her favorite restaurant, Vegan Paradise. But it's closed, and the owner is calling the police. He says, "Please hurry up! Someone has attacked our chef. We took him to a hospital a couple of minutes ago. My rivals must have sent someone to ruin my business." Police officers arrive at the restaurant and find out that 3 people have been in the staff area during the accident. The first cook was cutting onions when the attack happened. He says that tears have blurred his vision and he couldn't see anything. The second cook was peeling shrimp during the accident. He says he's been listening to music through his earphones, so he didn't hear anything. The third person, a waitress, claims she's been serving beverages outside. Who's lying? The second cook attacked the chef. Because there can't be shrimp in a vegan restaurant. Kelly decides to go to another restaurant by taxi. She walks outside and faces 3 drivers, Mike, Bob, and Stephanie. Each offers Kelly a ride, but only one of them is trustworthy. Can you figure out who? Mike is wearing a gold bracelet with the name Mia. It doesn't fit his big wrist, so it must be stolen. And Stephanie's car lacks one wheel. Therefore, Bob is the best option. Kelly is having lunch at a cafe. At some point, she goes to the bathroom and leaves her phone on the table. Then she comes back and finds out that her phone is missing. Kelly spots a man leaving the place and runs after him. She stops him when the man is about to sit in a car and asks him to return the gadget. But the man claims to know nothing about the phone. He says, "I've just given my friends a lift to work," and he points at 2 men walking toward an office building. After hearing that story, Kelly calls the police immediately. Why? The man lied. His sports car only has 2 seats. It cannot fit 3 men.
Sally, Nellie, and Kelly are hanging out at the beach. They play volleyball and have a lot of fun. But then their ball flies away into the bushes. Nellie leaves the playground to bring it back, and she never comes back. Kelly and Sally look everywhere, but Nellie is gone. They begin to panic and call the police. Detective Bold arrives quickly, finds 3 suspects, and questions them. Bill says, "I've been chilling here since morning, but I didn't notice anything." Kyle says, "I arrived here just now, so I have no idea what's going on." And Mike says, "I was diving in the sea and watching the corals." Can you figure out the kidnapper? It's Kyle. He's wearing the same cap as Nellie. It seems too small for his head. That's because Kyle kidnapped Nellie and stole her cap. Sally returns to the apartment building where she lives. Wow, there's a basket with a cute little kitten on her porch. Sally takes 2 pictures to send them to her friends. Can you spot 3 differences between them? Here they are. Sally wants to know who brought the kitten, so she interrogates her neighbors. Tom says,
I've been playing video games since early morning. I didn't leave my place at all.
Tim says, "I've been working out and I haven't left my apartment yet." Tyler says, "I stayed home all day too. I was too busy playing basketball." Who's lying? Tyler. He's playing with a soccer ball, not a basketball. Moreover, it's pretty hard to play basketball alone inside the apartment. Sally goes to the supermarket to buy some milk for the kitten. Only these 3 packs of milk are left on the shelf. Can you help Sally choose the best option? The second milk expired 2 centuries ago, and the third milk carton is bloated, which means that it has already turned sour. Therefore, Sally should grab the first milk. Sally has been working as a cab driver for several years. One day, a police officer finds Sally unconscious in her car. Someone attacked her and stained the car with glue. The officer checks Sally's app account. Sally had quarrels with 3 clients recently, so he interrogates them. Rob says, "I took a cab to the university. When we arrived, Sally asked me to pay extra money for parking, and we had a brief quarrel, but I wouldn't put my future career at risk for a couple of dollars." Karen says, "Yesterday, I received an emergency call. My husband got to the hospital, so I needed to get there as soon as possible. But Sally was driving very slowly. That's why we had a quarrel." And Mrs. Green says, "I was returning home from the supermarket after grocery shopping. Sally asked for extra money for helping me with the bags. I didn't like it." After hearing their stories, the officer knows for sure who's guilty. What about you? Take a closer look at Sally's car. It's parked near the hospital, which means that Karen's trip was the last one before the attack. Therefore, she did it. Sally is feeling much better and she gets back to work. She needs to pick up her client at a restaurant. Her app offers 3 possible routes, but only one of them will actually bring her to the desired destination. Can you guess which one? Sally should choose the second route. Sally parks her car near the restaurant and faces the following scene. One of these ladies has a ghost mother. Can you guess who? The second lady is a ghost mother. Take a look at her mother's face. She's even younger than her daughter, which means that time has stopped for her a long time ago. Moreover, she leans over a candle without any fear of an open flame. Sally wants to visit her boyfriend Ken at his office, but the front door is locked. Can you help Sally figure out the 5-digit code? Let's take a closer look at these scratches. These are hints. All Sally needs to do is count the number of intersections. So the code is 23504. Finally, Sally gets inside Ken's lab. He shows her a spaceship from another galaxy. Ken found it and managed to repair everything except the dashboard. How should these wires be connected to make it work? Here, we see unfamiliar symbols from another galaxy. Our task is to determine which word each symbol corresponds to. These dots are put in the same places as the tails of some letters. This way, we can find a match for each word and connect the wires. Suddenly, Sally gets sick. She has a headache and a sore throat. Ken only has 4 pills that are identical to each other. They don't have any cover or instructions. So there's no way he can identify which pill serves that purpose. The only thing he knows is that 2 of these 4 pills will cure the throat and the remaining 2 will help with the headache. Sally should take 1 of each kind to heal. What should she do? The only solution available is to cut each pill in half, and then take 1/2 from each of the 4 pills. This way, she'll definitely have 1 pill of each kind. Ken offers Sally to live together. They begin to look for a new apartment and arrange 3 meetings with landlords. Each tells a story about their property. Mrs. Gray says,
I inherited this amazing apartment from my sister, but now I want to rent it for the long term because I'm moving to a farm with my husband.
Oliver says,
I've been living in this property for 5 years, and it's in perfect condition. But now, I'm moving abroad for work. So I'd like to find good tenants who will take care of it.
And Rose says, this apartment belongs to my mother-in-law. She lives in Europe and asked me to find new tenants. Only one of these landlords is trustworthy. Can you guess who? There's an advertisement near Mrs. Gray's apartment. This property is for sale. Therefore, she probably lied about the long-term lease. And now, let's take a closer look at Oliver's ceiling. It's leaking. Therefore, his apartment is not in perfect condition. Liar! Sally's kitten ran away. She's been looking for her pet all day long. Suddenly, Sally meets her neighbor holding her kitten. He says, I'll give your pet back only if you crack my riddle. I'm the last thing you take off when you go to bed. What am I? Ready to hear the correct answer? I'm your feet, and you take them off the floor. Sally brings her kitten to the vet for a checkup. There, she meets two doctors, but only one of them is a real vet doctor. Can you spot who exactly? Real doctors usually wear gloves at work, but the guy on the left doesn't wear any, although he's holding a dog. Sally wants to get a job in a magic shop. The owner gives her a test assignment to find a love potion on this shelf. Sally is very confused because the recipes are too complicated. Luckily, Sally's possible future coworker, Glenda, agrees to give Sally a hint. She provides her with a bunch of recipes, and now Sally needs to figure out the correct one by herself. She only knows that a love potion should contain these 5 ingredients. Can you help her find the right bottle? Only the third bottle has all the required ingredients, so Sally should grab it. Sally succeeds and gets the job. Now her task is to go to the storage and find a fake mirror. Can you help her? Only the second mirror shows the correct reflection, so the remaining 2 are fake. Sally and Glenda get hungry and order some food. Their meals are almost identical, but in fact, they have 3 differences. Can you spot them? Here they are. Matt buys a new house. In the basement, he discovers 3 signed boxes and a note. It says that one of the boxes contains $1 million. The 2 other boxes are empty, according to the note. Only one of the 3 messages written on the boxes is true. On the first box, it said that the cash is not there. The second box has a similar message: the cash is not here. And the third box says that the cash is in the second box. If you were Matt, which bag would you choose? Matt should choose the first bag, as we know only one of the clues is true. So the money should be in the first bag. Matt walks out of his house and goes to the garden. He pulls out his right hand. Suddenly, a bee lands on it. What's in Matt's eye? Beauty. Why? Because beauty is in the eye of the bee holder. In the garden, Matt takes 2 pictures. Can you spot 3 differences between them? Here they are. Matt returns home and figures out that someone has broken into his house, and the thief has just left. How did Matt figure this out? Someone turned on his electric stove and put a plastic bag on top. The plastic is only half melted, so the thief must have left a few seconds ago. Matt goes to his favorite vegan restaurant as usual on Fridays. He orders a slice of pizza, puts it on a table, and leaves for a couple of minutes to wash his hands. Then Matt comes back and finds out that his pizza is gone. He interrogates 3 customers nearby. Harold says, "I'm not hungry, so I didn't even look at your food. I came here for the sake of coffee." Bella says, "I was having a video call with my boyfriend. He lives in another country, so we go on virtual dates every Sunday. Distance is so exhausting." And Anna says, "I was taking pictures of my food, so I didn't look around. You can check them out if you don't believe me." After hearing about what they had to say, Matt knows for sure who's a liar. What about you? According to Bella, she goes on virtual dates every Sunday. But it's Friday. Liar! Matt's girlfriend Erica is visiting him in his lab. Suddenly, she faces two identical Matts. Can you help her figure out who's a clone? The guy on the right has a scar on his arm. Meanwhile, the clone doesn't have any because his skin is brand new. Matt goes to the mall and buys a bat and a ball for $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Nope, the correct answer is not 10 cents. It's actually a little less. A ball costs 5 cents and the bat $1.05. And together they total $1.10. Someone robbed Matt's lab. The thief stole the cloning device and he's going to hand it over tonight. This is a great opportunity to catch the criminal. The police figure out the approximate place where to look for the device. They decide to question several people nearby. Greg says, "The garbage truck has just emptied the overhead trash cans."
Jeff says, "I'm in charge of these trash cans. I checked all the cans next to the yellow ones and found nothing interesting."
And Bill just points at all the trash cans that someone approached today. Can you help the police find the trash can with the stolen device? First of all, we need to calculate the top cans. And now let's check all the remaining trash cans which people were approaching. The next step is to remove those next to the yellow ones. And here it is, the trash can we've been looking for. After the robbery, Matt decides to lock his lab door with a password. There are 4 buttons with different images: orange, banana, apple, and tomato. Can you guess which button opens the door? The odd one out is the tomato because all the others are fruits. So it should open the door. A priceless crystal disappeared from the local science museum. The thief left no trace behind. After analyzing the museum's security cameras, Matt invites 3 suspects for an interrogation. The security guard says, "I only left my post once during lunchtime. I can swear that the crystal was still there when I came back." The museum curator says, "I spent the day guiding a tour of foreign scientists. They came to see the crystal at the beginning of the tour. It was still shining bright in its place." One of the visitors says, "I only popped in for a quick visit. I didn't even pass through the room where the crystal was kept." After hearing their stories, Matt knows for sure who the thief is. What about you? It was the visitor. He hid the crystal in his sleeve. Matt's brother Greg arrives at his house to eat together. He yells, "Matt, the microwave is on, and it's already defrosting our dinner." Greg hears Matt's reply from the bathroom. "Could you please check the microwave and let me know how much time is left?" Greg grabs his phone and calls the police. He reports a dangerous situation involving his brother. How did he know? Greg is blind, so his brother would have asked him to look at the microwave because Matt knows that Greg can't see. This made Greg suspicious, and that's why he called the police. The next day, Matt wakes up in a secret abandoned lab. He wanders around and finds 3 doors leading to freedom. But each door is hiding an unpleasant surprise. Here's a creepy monster sitting in a cage behind the first door. It's very hungry and angry. There's a bunch of venomous snakes crawling behind the second door, and the lights are off, so Matt won't be able to see them. And behind the door, there's a huge fire. Which way is more or less safe? He should choose the first door. The monster is in a cage, so Matt can just pass by and escape. Matt manages to escape and enters the nearest gas station. He spots 3 odd things about this place right away. Can you see them too? The poster with the engine oil advertisement offers a 0% discount. The cashier has an octopus tentacle instead of hands. See this package of chips? It says they have the flavor of spiders. That's weird. The cashier agrees to help Matt get home if he manages to solve his riddle.
I came first on Earth, but second in heaven. I also come twice a week, but I'm found just once a year. I stay away for months, but you can find me in February. What am I?
The correct answer is the letter E. Matt returns home and finds out that someone has left homemade cookies on the kitchen table. He examines all the doors and windows. He finds no signs of a break-in. Matt decides to question 3 suspects who have a key. His mother says, "I spent all day with my yoga teacher, and my class ended 10 minutes ago, so I didn't have time for cookies." The plumber says, "I fixed the kitchen sink in the morning and left for home. Why would I bring you any gifts?" And Matt's girlfriend Erica says, "I visited your house a couple of hours ago to drop off some shopping bags and left for the gym. I didn't see any cookies." Who's lying? The plumber. Take a closer look at the kitchen sink. It has no tap. Therefore, he lied. Matt is walking in the local restaurant and gets lost in a maze. He has only 15 seconds to get out before it starts raining. Can you help him find the right direction? Ready to see the answer? Here's the correct route.
Halloween is coming close, and Detective Marlin has his hands full with all kinds of creepy creatures and mysterious cases. Hopefully, you'll help him crack these frightening riddles.
Yeah.
A scared store owner called Detective Marlin. He said there was a vampire in his store. When the detective arrived, he didn't see the store owner, but there were 3 other people inside. Look at them attentively and help the detective figure out which one is a vampire. Well, the first one's eyes are red, but it looks as if he didn't sleep well at night. The second one is freezing. All parts of his body are covered with some pieces of clothing. But look at the third one. He's drinking something red from a glass using a straw. He must be the vampire the detective is looking for. Now, where is that store owner? Look at this family very attentively. Detective Marlin was invited to their house to figure out in the body of which family member a ghost is hiding. Soon he found the answer. How about you? Admittedly, the woman does look scared, but it has nothing to do with the ghost. She just choked on some food. The man is wearing dark glasses, even though he's indoors, but he's blind. Do you see that white cane the blind use next to him? That's why he's got glasses. The granny is the one you need. There's a trace of ectoplasm that goes through the whole room toward her. One day, a very pale woman covering a bite on her neck with her hand approached Detective Marlin. She said that when she had been returning home the evening before, someone had attacked her and turned her into a vampire. She wanted to find the culprit. The detective found 3 suspects. Look at them and find the one that has turned the woman into a vampire. This man is quite old and has no teeth, so he can't be a vampire. This woman has tan marks, but vampires can't sunbathe. So the man wearing a hat and gloves must have turned her into a vampire. Now, Detective Marlin is walking through a park when he notices 3 men sitting on a bench. He immediately realizes that one of them is a ghost. Can you guess which one? The first man has a pale complexion. The second one is just wearing loose, oversized clothes. The ghost is the man whose leg is going all the way through the bench. Two husbands suspect their wives were werewolves. They invited Detective Marlin to find out the truth. The detective examined the women's bedrooms and realized that only one of them was a monster. Which one? This bedroom has a scary atmosphere, all dark with posters of rock bands on the walls. The second one is pink and very feminine. But have you noticed scratch marks on the floor in the bed? The woman who lives here is a werewolf. Detective Marlin's next case is no less tricky. A priceless mirror, 6 feet tall, with a beautiful silver frame, was stolen from a legendary haunted house. The main 3 suspects are the Halloween monsters last seen in the house, a witch, a vampire, and a werewolf. Can you help the detective figure out the culprit? It was the witch. Silver is known to harm werewolves. The werewolf wouldn't have touched it. Vampires can't see their reflections, so the vampire wouldn't have any need for the mirror. The only one who might need this mirror is the witch. Detective Marlin is exhausted. He's been working so hard that he decides to treat himself to a cup of coffee. When he enters the nearest coffee shop, he sees 2 guys. They wear similar clothes, hold steaming coffee cups, and in general seem to be perfectly fine. But the detective immediately understands that one of them is a werewolf in disguise. Which one? Look at the guy on the right. There are strange marks on the rim of his cup. Are they left by his fangs? Also, his pupils are a bit elongated. And there is a paw print design on the coffee shop paper bag he's holding. Wait, is it a special establishment for werewolves? Detective Marlin suspects that one of his old friends is immortal. One day, he's invited to a small party one of the men hosts. He's standing in the corner, looking at his 3 friends sitting by the fireplace. And suddenly, it dawns on him. Have you figured out which man is immortal too? The man on the left looks very old-fashioned. The one in the middle is reading a book in Latin. And only the man on the right seems to be very young. But look at that picture on the fireplace. It must have been taken on the day when the Eiffel Tower was open. But the man is there too, and he hasn't aged a day since then. Last night, on a full moon, several people disappeared in the city. Detective Marlin questioned locals and found out that they believe the culprit was a werewolf. Soon the detective had 3 suspects, Jack, Levi, and Luke, but all of them had alibis. Jack said he had been walking with his girlfriend near the river. Levi had been choosing a silver ring for himself in the mall. And Luke, who worked as a museum guard, had a night shift at work. So, which guy is guilty? Jack was walking under the light of a full moon and didn't turn into a werewolf. Levi wasn't afraid to put on silver rings, even though this metal harms werewolves. It means that the werewolf and potential culprit is most likely Lou. Once, Detective Marlin found out about a strange case. A man who was visiting the city heard about a cursed house. A vampire and a beauty were said to live there. And since the rumor had it that the beauty was held in the house against her will, the traveler decided to help the girl. But when he was talking to her, she suddenly shouted, "The vampire is returning! We have to hide in the basement and lock the door!" And so they did. But in the morning, the man still found himself turned into a vampire. How was it possible?
Yeah.
It didn't take the detective long to realize that the beauty herself was the vampire. Detective Marlin's wife was decorating their house for Halloween. She sent her husband a message asking him to buy something with a leg, an arm, and a head, but without flesh or eyeballs. At first the man was confused, but soon he realized what his wife wanted. Have you figured it out too? Mrs. Marlin needed a skeleton. The next day, the detective got a new message from his wife. This time, he needed to get something wrapped, but not a gift. It had to be something kept neatly in a chamber, which archaeologists considered a great treasure. What did Detective Marlin have to bring home? Mrs. Marlin wanted to use a mummy to decorate the house. A zombie, a mummy, and a ghost bought a house. It has lots of different rooms, but there's one room you will never find there. What is this room? It's the living room. Look at these two ladies. Which one seems suspicious? It's the woman on the right. Her reflection is all wrong. She's not human. Look at these people dancing at a costume party attentively. You need to figure out who is a werewolf. It's that guy in the corner. He's wearing a human mask, but his thick hair is peeking from underneath the mask. Some people believe in me and others don't. At night, I roam around, and sometimes I float. If you hear a troubled noise coming from the ground, go run and hide from my creepy sound. What am I? I'm a ghost. Some people fear me. The more of me you have, the less you see. What am I? I'm darkness. I'm thought to bring bad luck. I blend in the night, and I'm known to mingle with witches. What am I? I'm a black cat. Meow.